Hey, this is Surinder with Soul Smile Awaken, and today I'm going to be sharing with you how your consciousness and energy affects humanity. I've recently revisited David Hawkins' work, Power versus Force. Now, this is really amazing. It's where science meets spirituality, and it's basically research done by himself and his team. So what he did was he used kinesiology and did millions of calibrations on thousands of people and mapped out something called levels of consciousness on a map of consciousness ranging from 0 to 1,000. And humans operate within this range. So the range goes from 0, which is non-existence or death, right up through to enlightenment at 1,000. So we're all somewhere on this scale, and we can change. We can go up the scale, we can go down the scale. It's not a better or worse situation, it's just a different vibrational frequency, a different level of consciousness. So here we go. Here is his map of consciousness. You can see it here, and we're running through all sorts of different feelings, emotions, experiences here. And just pulling this up on the screen, you can just see really clearly here. So at 20, you've got shame, and then 30, guilt, 75, grief, 100, fear, going up to desire, anger, and pride. 200 is a breakthrough and a big shift in consciousness. At 200, we have courage, and at courage, the energy really starts to change. So everything below 200 is classed as a force energy, and everything above 200 is classed as a power energy. So we go into courage, and then neutrality at 250, willingness at 310, acceptance at 350, reason at 400, and love at 500. So love is calibrated at 500. Joy, peace, and enlightenment being from 700 to 1000. So we just touched upon this force and power concept. Now in the book it gives a great example of how Gandhi calibrated at around 760, and at that time the British Empire calibrated at below 200. You see a big difference here. So British Empire at 175, coming from force, with the energy of force, and Gandhi rocking the power. So David Hawkins says that power will always overcome force. And we see that in this example, where the peace of Gandhi and his movement, his peace movement, really overcame that force of the British at that particular time in history. So we think of force, it's kind of that pushing energy against opposition. It's a contracting energy, whereas power is expansive, it's growing, it's very firm and steady and strong. The amazing thing about this whole concept and theory is that we can shift where we are on the scale in a moment by choice. And it's not to say that we should just push aside and not be in the space of when we feel anger or guilt or fear. Totally feel it, be in it, but let it move through and understand that we can shift up the scale. Because when we shift up the scale, we don't only shift for ourselves, we shift for our friends, our family, our communities. We actually shift for the whole of humanity. We saw in the case of Gandhi that he, being calibrated at 760, had this incredible power to allow a moving through of the energy of the contracting force of the British Empire at that time. We all have this capacity if we know how to tap into it and move into those different frequencies, those higher frequencies. When I was doing my teacher training in Kundalini Yoga, we were doing a really physical exercise called Satkriya, the Satkriya workout. And the teacher said to us, if one person perfects the posture and perfects the movement and the breath of the posture, the whole room gets the benefit. When we look around from our really privileged positions right now, there's just so much going on, and we can often be thinking, like, what can we do to help? How can we support? How can we serve at this time? And something really easy that you can do is just shift where you are in yourself. Fear is fear, no matter where you are. If it's fear on one side of an argument or another side of an argument, it's still fear. And we can transcend that. We can move through that. We can accept where it is. Okay, I'm feeling fear. That's okay. And then move through it. Move up. Have some compassion for yourself and shift. Maybe moving into, maybe it looks like anger first of all, and then it transfers into courage, and then maybe we can get a little bit above that. And also not being too hard on yourself with this either. You don't need to be on these higher levels of consciousness all of the time. Okay, it will be awesome for the planet, but it's just not realistic. Be where you are. Just be where you are, but have the understanding that if you're in a place that you're not feeling so great, you can do something about it. You can shift the energy and shift the consciousness. These times are so challenging, and we're all holding space for each other to move through together as a collective, together as humanity. We all have a role to play. So be the light and shine your light in the world. Do what you can, be who you are, be where you are. And I look forward to connecting with you very soon.